Hi, I'm Tera Erway, sitting in for Jessica Lahr. And on this week's edition of FLX Weekly, Jessica sits down for a special interview with Geneva City Manager Mathew Horn. But first, a look at your weekend weather here in the Finger Lakes. Friday will be mostly cloudy and pleasant with a comfortable high of about 74. Things cool down overnight with lows into the mid-50s. Then, I'm sorry to report, rain moves in for the rest of the weekend, and it will feel more like a late April weekend than the last week of June. Saturday will be a washout, with rain starting late morning and continuing straight through to Sunday afternoon. High temperatures will struggle to reach the mid-60s each day, and overnight's low will dip well into the 50s. Temperatures are expected to rebound back into the 70s to start the next work week. In the news this week, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand was in Penn on Monday to launch a push to establish a national heritage area in the Finger Lakes region. Gillibrand has introduced a bill that would authorize the National Park Service to conduct a feasibility study in the 14 counties that make up the extended Finger Lakes region. If designated a national heritage area, it could increase tourism and aid conservation efforts. There are currently 49 national heritage areas, including 4 in New York. On Sunday afternoon, a United Airlines commercial passenger plane that left Newark, New Jersey, bound for Rochester, was forced to make an emergency landing at the Canandaigua airport after smoke began to fill the cockpit and bathroom of the aircraft. The city of Canandaigua's fire chief, Mark Marantap, says no one was hurt and everyone was able to get out of the plane on their own. When fire crews got to the scene, there was no fire and all of the smoke had dissipated. United Airlines is investigating the incident. 2 convicted murderers who escaped from the Clinton Correctional Facility in northern New York on June 6th remain at large. On Tuesday, Clinton County Prosecutor Andrew Wiley said the convicts were aided in the escape by hacksaw blades and other tools passed to them inside frozen ground beef by prison tailor Joyce Mitchell. Both Mitchell and a second correctional officer, 57-year-old Gene Palmer, were arrested and charged with promoting prison contraband and official misconduct. On Wednesday, more than 1,000 heavily armed officers searched a 75-square-mile area of rugged terrain in Franklin County, but still have not located the escapees, who are now considered armed and dangerous. Read more on all of these stories and hundreds more from over 40 local sources online at fingerlakes1.com. Jessica Lahr was in Geneva on Monday afternoon to talk about City Manager Mathew Horn, to talk about the Geneva's recent designation as a Great America City.
Here we are in Geneva, New York, and we're here to sit down with City Manager Matt Horn, who's going to tell us about the award they just received, the All-America City. Also, I think he's going to share with us what's coming up on our lakefront and other amazing things that are happening in Geneva. So how did it go about where you guys were you nominated for this award, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so it's a pretty historical award. They've done, I think this was the 66th year that they've done it. And I've watched it in a number of communities I've worked in. I've worked in a half dozen or so communities around the country, and it's a really prestigious award. And so each community I worked in, I kind of sat down and tried to pull together a good storyline, and none of them ever really fit with the All-America City Award. It's really based in community involvement, community engagement. How do you put your residents to work on problems that are facing the community? And so Geneva's got a great storyline along those lines. So back in January, we started the application process, which was about a 40-page nomination form. And so we focused in on 3 key areas. One was the Geneva 2020 program, which is our collective impact program to raise the stakes in the school district and move the needle on graduation rates and a couple of other things. We also looked at our downtown revitalization efforts, which we've seen a huge success in, but more focused than that on the shop local, buy local initiatives and this Love Geneva concept that's really driven from grassroots up and not the other way around. And then finally on our neighborhood revitalization efforts, which were started actually back in 2008, but since then we've pulled together 10 neighborhood associations. Last year they logged 2,400 volunteer hours in support of park improvements and helping their
Wow.
neighbors out with housing improvements. So it was a great storyline to talk about what neighbors and residents and business owners are doing to move Geneva forward. And it turned out that it was in perfect alignment with the National Civic League's nomination process. So we found out in March that we were a finalist. I think there were about 140 applicants. We were one of 16 finalists.
Wow.
And then,
Congratulations.
then one of 10 award winners. Yeah, it was great.
That's amazing. Now, I know the graduation rate in Geneva has gone from, like 60% in 1999 to 85% now.
Nice.
Is that correct?
Yeah, huge swing. And we set our target at 90%. And more importantly, we set our target at 90% across the spectrum. So today we're at 85%, 84.8% of all students at Geneva High School. And what we'd like to do in the future is drill down to some specific groups, like economically disadvantaged students, non-English speaking students, and so forth, to make sure that we're moving the needle on all of those groups. And the ultimate goal is 90% across the board, but we're really close on our 90% marker for school-wide.
Yeah, that's a tremendous growth. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's a community effort, this collective impact model, this Geneva 2020 concept started with actually Mark Gearin had attended a lecture on it and read some material on Cincinnati, which was another city that had a real challenge with their school districts. And they called the model collective impact because it's generally not one person or one agency doing the work. It's all the community's agencies kind of focused on one set of goals. And our goals were moving the needle on graduation rate,
Yes.
college and career readiness, so getting our kids ready to do what they want to do when they're out of school. And then literacy. Some staggering statistics about if you're not reading at grade level by the 3rd grade, your chances of graduating from high school decline by 25%. And then each year that it goes on like that, it's further and further. Your course is set by 6th grade if you haven't started hitting the mark on that.
Wow.
And so we're really focused on that 3rd grade achievement level. The colleges, again, have been spectacular about bringing students onto campus. I think every 3rd, 6th, and 9th grader goes to campus so they can see.
That's great.
Yeah, they can see what college is like. I mean, if you've never set foot on a college campus, you might have a different idea about what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
And so they go to developmentally appropriate programming across the board. Everyone's favorite is lunch. They go to the Scanlon Center and have lunch, and
Which is delicious.
Absolutely, I'd go there
been
every
many
day if I
times.
could. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the kids get a taste for that. They get it, so to speak, and they get a real feel for what college classrooms are like and what the facilities are like, and it helps them set a vision for themselves. So. We think it's an important part of the program, and it's just another way that, without having to write a check, you can contribute. I know, but there are people in the community who are writing checks.
Yes.
One of the banks donated lab coats, or donated funding to buy lab coats for our biotech students. There's so many examples. I think we had a wish list of a couple of hundred items, and the community came out in droves to support that, and so it's been really spectacular.
That's fantastic, and I know that a part of this is really making the community get involved and take pride in the city of Geneva. And I know there's the Love Geneva quote that you use a lot, and I know there's bumper stickers and shirts that people are wearing, and it's really neat to see people get involved within their community.
Yeah, and growing up around here, you probably know some of our harshest critics have been from within. People who are from Geneva who never really realized, I guess, kind of how good you've got it. When you're here, you can get immersed in some of the challenges and not really look around and see what your assets are. And so, City Council said, a couple of years ago, pride of place is going to be one of our top goals. And we've always had in place, or for a long time, we've had in place these economic development agencies like the BID and the IDA and every other initial you can think of. But where it really started to take off was when the businesses started taking care of their own. This shop local movement. Love Geneva came about in the last 5 years, and their thought process was things like at Christmas time, if you just spend half of the money you were going to spend on Christmas downtown, what that might mean. And they've done some great infographics on where the money goes when you spend $1 at Walmart or Sam's Club versus where it goes if you spend it at Area Records or some other, how much of it stays in the community and how much of it leaves. And it took root, and our 4th quarter sales tax numbers from last year were the best they've been in 20 years, just in terms of our percentage in the county and our growth against the previous year. So we've seen a lot of people just, they do a program called Cash Mobs, where one Saturday morning they'll just say, hey, instead of going to Lowe's or instead of going to Home Value, go to Church's down on Exchange Street for your hardware stuff. And these businesses were reporting the best business days they've seen, whether it was at Church's or any other business that they highlighted. And really, it's just, you put it on your list. Oh, I was going to go here or go there, but I'm going to go downtown now instead. And the Geneva Night Out program, which has been spectacular. That program, believe it or not, started in February. 2 years ago, started in February. And even me personally, I was thinking, I'm such a weather wimp. I was like, we're going to do an outdoor art crawl in February. What is this? They're on their, I mean, they're coming up on their 3rd year, and every single month. They haven't missed one event, and they've done some really cool things, and every month it gets bigger, and people are staying in Geneva and hanging out downtown. It's a really great feeling.
It's great. Well, Geneva downtown is gorgeous. I know it's grown a lot in the past. Since I've been here, I've actually only been in Geneva for 10 years. My husband was born and raised, but in 10 years, it's amazing to see how beautiful it's become and how much pride people are taking in the area. They're really investing their time and energy and money in Geneva. So
that's a big deal. I mean, we looked at, in 2008, we did a survey of first floor spaces in downtown, and we found we were over 50% vacant in the downtown in 2008. Since then, we did another survey at the end of last year, and we were less than 20% vacant. And now it's getting even tighter, to the point where it's getting frictional. People are coming to town saying, I'd like to buy a building, but I can't find one that's for sale, or I can't find a space to put my business, because people want to be here. We've got, just on Linden Street, we've got 4 new businesses that have either opened in the last 6 months or are going to open in the next 6 months. A cool little spot where you can get a glass of wine or cupcake or whatever. It's a really neat spot. We're looking at more upper story development, people wanting to live downtown, market rate apartments, just skyrocketing in the downtown. 10 and 12 at a time just being released and getting snapped up so that there's no vacancies in these upper floors. So it's really neat. Hobart and William Smith relocated their offices, their administrative offices downtown, which puts feet on the street at lunchtime, so the restaurants are full, the gift shops are buzzing. We've also done, Lions National Bank announced they're going to do their operations center right here in our backyard. Another 50 employees in downtown, which really means something to a local merchant, particularly a restaurant person or a retail person, to have a couple of hundred people down here all day, every day.
Oh yeah, it's great. Fantastic. And I know that they're doing a lot with the lakefront too, so can you tell us about what's coming up around the corner?
Sure. Well, we've done, just in the last couple of years, we finished our Visitor and Events Center, which was really a project that was envisioned way back in 2008. We've done a lot of work on it, and it morphed a couple of times. Senator Nozzolio had secured a couple of $1 million for us to get started on that project, and then the Regional Economic Development Council came through with another $500,000. So now we've got this world-class 5,000 square foot ballroom, catering kitchen. We've got a firm that's operating that. They've already done a couple dozen events over there in the last year and a half. They've got even more booked all the way into 2016 now. They're starting to get cramped in 2016 for wedding dates, weddings, corporate events. So that was kind of the first arrow, if you will, that we fired down there, and it's really working well. It's got a visitor center attached to it, so that folks who are walking along the lakefront want to find out what there is to do in Geneva. There's a ton of information. It's open 7 days a week. But then we started working on our shoreline, which I always thought, again, you take a walk down, you're from out of town, you take a walk down, you think about this beautiful, I call it the 40-mile-an-hour view. You're walking along and you're like, man, this is great. But when you slow down, you started to see some signs of aging on the shoreline with some of the infrastructure. So we went in, gutted all of that, and put in new infrastructure along the shoreline, new pathways. One of the weird things about Seneca Lake was always that Geneva was kind of up here and the lake was down here, so we were a little standoffish about the water. And I took my kids and my dog down there this weekend, and they, for the first time, could walk the steps right down to the water, get their feet wet, splash around a little bit. Get back on the trail, and you can go all the way now to Seneca Falls. It's the trail connects all the way to Seneca Falls. So that was kind of our first shoreline project. We've got plans, and we've funded plans to go all the way up to the Ramada with similar improvements. And then we're going to dig right back in. The state's been so generous. We've received grant funds 3 years in a row, all in now about $2.5 million in state funding, along with $2.5 million of local funding. But we're going to keep coming back. We've been successful. We're going to demonstrate that, and we're going to keep competing for funding for those projects.
Wow. Well, you're doing a fantastic job. I'm so glad you're our city manager, and I know that Geneva is glad too. Thank you for all that you're doing, and congratulations on being the new All-America City.
Well, thank you.
Great.
It's a community honor, so we owe it all to the residents, but we appreciate you covering it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for meeting with us.
Yeah, sure.
Congratulations to the City of Geneva on a great honor, and what a beautiful look at some great summer scenes on the north end of Seneca Lake. Speaking of great summer scenes, here's a look at our favorite local photos posted at fingerlakes1.com this week. The skies cleared in Clifton Springs just in time for Shelley Lannon to catch the first summer sunset of the season on Saturday evening. Renee Meeks was up early Sunday morning to photograph this scene on Cayuga Lake at Depot Park in Hammondsport. Dave Keller also caught a great shot of the first sunset of summer, a perfect end to the day as seen over Cayuga Lake in Aurora. The valerian is now in full bloom, as seen here in Helen Schmidt's garden near Enfield on Sunday afternoon. And the recent rains gave Hector Falls along Route 414 just the right amount of water, and Rachel Burkholder says she has seldom seen it looking better than it did this weekend. You can check out more recent local photos by clicking on the Photos link at the top of our homepage or by tapping the Photos tab on our app. In local theaters this weekend, Seth MacFarlane and Mark Wahlberg's Ted 2 hits theaters on Friday night, joining Jurassic World, Inside Out, and the new family adventure movie about Max, a precision-trained military dog who loses his best friend. For movie times at the theaters close to you, click on Movie Times at our homepage or on the fingerlakes1.com app. There are a ton of local events slated for across the region this weekend. For a full list of activities and details, visit our community calendar. If you missed it on fingerlakes1.tv this week, on Monday, Sharon Holtland, the event and marketing coordinator at the Gould Hotel, was a guest on Weber this week, where she shared plans for some of the biggest events on tap at the historic downtown Seneca Falls Hotel over the upcoming months.
We're back with Sharon Holton here on the Weber Show. It's good that she gets carve out 30 minutes of her busy schedule. Sharon, we talked about dinners, and I told you about my pot roast, Yankee pot roast being the favorite dish. Talk about your monthly deals, what you got going on every month that's sort of spectacular for our viewers to understand.
We have a lot of exciting things and great for our local viewers to really tune in, take a look at our website, and we have a calendar that pretty much goes over. So I'll give you the Reader's Digest
Sure.
version. August, we are looking to do a beer dinner. We try to bring our local breweries, since that business is booming in this area. We'll be pairing some of our local brews with our chef's choices, and we did a great harvest dinner last year, sold out. We had like for $35 you come in and you get a course, you get to try the different breweries, plus it's a fun thing. Grab your friends, get around, get an
People were talking all about that for weeks after.
I know
That
it was
very
amazing.
popular.
And it's fun too, because the chefs come out, they explain a little bit about what they do, and then they have the reps from the breweries that come, so that'll be happening. I believe it's August 8th, so just double check.
Okay.
We will be having one of the things that we're starting this fall is called the Great Women's Lecture Lunch Series.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to kick that off in September. I have a couple of ladies, and what my look at that is, we have a lot of spectacular women in this community.
Absolutely.
All over,
Right.
really. And one of the speakers I'm looking to get, and I'm not going to reveal a lot because
Right.
I don't want to commit, but one gal is from Hobart William Smith doing some great things with young women. And as soon as I get that locked in, that should be in September. Jill Teeshan, our new CEO of the Women's Hall of Fame, will be speaking right at the Hall of the induction. So the Wednesday after, which is October 7th, we'll be having a luncheon for that. So she will be speaking on some of her things that she's done in her life and what's got her where she is today. So that'll be in October. The induction is a big part of our October month, where we host the gala.
I know you do, yeah.
So the whole hotel will close at night. We open it up to guests that have bought tickets for the induction weekend, so we do that then. We will be doing probably something like a harvest dinner in October as well. And then we'll be featuring Denim to Diamonds for Trinity's Church
Bingo.
that month as well. There'll be a mystery dinner theater in October that will be hosted by the Finger Lakes Radio Group.
Nice.
And then we move on until November. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a Thanksgiving
Oh, sure.
feast. We will also have another lecture luncheon. Looking to get someone, and you know, if any of the viewers happen to know of a great woman, keep in mind I've only been here for 3 years.
Right.
So anyone that you would like to send in to me, because I really think it's awesome to highlight our representatives of women in our community
I
as
agree.
well, because there are a ton of them, I must say.
Oh, I know. Yep.
And so we are looking to do that, and then we move into the holidays. The end of November is going to be something different. We talked about it last year, Jim, because you were involved a little bit on the Light Up Seneca Falls. So it's going to happen where each of the store windows will all be closed dark right before everybody gets the lights on in the community.
Nice.
And then we'll invite all the community down and all the lights down the street, the new garlands, everything will be up, and we'll launch that
Kind
as
of
a
like
new
the official
event.
start of the holiday season.
Yes, it'll be
Seneca
like the
Falls.
launch of the season. So that'll be hosted by the Business Association, Seneca Falls Business Association, and the Gould. So we're really excited about that. And then, of course, we mosey on into December, Wonderful Life, which we can't forget that,
No.
which is going to get big. And I don't know if anybody realizes this, but next year will be the 70th anniversary.
How
so
many?
70 years of that
Wow.
Of the movie.
so you're going to be hearing, I don't want to steal any thunder
No,
of
I know.
that, but that's going to be pretty exciting. But then we move into our big event, which we feel has been an honor, the Antoninas. I think it's going to be the 17th year, or was it 18th now? Well, we're at 17th.
Long time.
Yeah.
A lot of years ringing in the new
Yes,
year.
yes, and so we're very excited about that. It was such a success for the Gould and the community last year. This whole street was amazing. So
Oh, I
we're
know.
very excited with that, and we're looking forward to that. And but it's something that I think the viewers and our local people should take a look at our website, see what's going on, get in the habit, like us on Facebook, and you'll find out all kinds of things. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. But this is an amazing community, I have to say.
It sounds like there's not a dull month in your job. You
No,
got a
not
lot
really.
of things going on.
It's a lot, but it's great. And all in between that is weddings and showers and parties and all in between of the good stuff of town. So we're really fortunate.
On Tuesday afternoon, the Seneca Falls Country Club's head chef Ben Bird was a guest on Healthy Cooking with Your Friendly Italians. Here's a short clip from the episode.
Can we ask Ben about his background?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you, we went up a week ago Friday, and we had dinner, and you made a chicken penne with a vodka sauce that is the
And mushrooms.
best I have ever tasted.
Oh, thank you.
It
Thank you
was
so
really,
much.
really good. Now, a lot of people don't know what vodka sauce is. It's not taking some vodka and pour it over some pasta.
Right, that would be tasty, I'm sure, though. You know.
So, in a vodka sauce, you're using tomatoes
Yes.
and cream
Yep.
and vodka.
I do use a little bit of vodka. It goes in at a different time, but yeah, there is vodka actually.
and
Well, I
the
know-
reason for the vodka, what do you feel that it does for the sauce?
Well, it gives it a little bit of an alcoholic flavor. Most of it does burn away. What I use it with is I put it in the pan after I'm sautéing and to deglaze it, to get anything off the bottom of the pan.
okay.
A lot of times you'll go in with any sort of liquid. It could be stock, it could
Right.
be alcohol or wine or anything like that, to get some of that flavor that's seared in the bottom. And for a vodka sauce, say I'm using like a sausage or a chicken or mushroom or anything.
Great dish.
Yeah.
Now, when I make vodka sauce, a little for me,
Oh yeah,
and by the time I make it, it's not any good anymore because I'm drunk.
right.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway.
But
Sometimes
anyways.
that's when it's the best. Yeah.
You're at Seneca Falls Country Club before you were at the Gould.
and before
and
that,
we-
where had you worked?
Last Thursday night, Jimmy Phelps called into the 31st Lap podcast with Chris Marquardt to talk about the return of racing to Weedsport Speedway.
All right, so we should have Jim Phelps on the line. Jim, man, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty well. I understand that you guys have been dotting the I's and crossing the T's and putting the finishing touches on having the World of Outlaws come to town, coming up here next Tuesday.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, with the World Outlaw Sprint event went real well. So I mean, we didn't have a ton to do, but we did do some things to address some issues with the property. We put some more grandstands up in turn 4 and some fencing up so some people, the pit side of things would have some more room to watch and all that good stuff. So that's been a little labor intensive. But, other than that, I tell you, things are looking really good. I mean, there's a a general buzz in the air again, like we had for the sprints, and it's real exciting.
I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be an outstanding race. The late models tend to do well when they've got high banks and some tight confines. It doesn't let the motors necessarily get out and run. You don't get them stretched out single file. You guys enjoyed a pretty good race there a couple weeks back with the World of Outlaw sprint cars. You talked about adding the extra seats and making some of the changes to the amenities. When you stand from the outside looking in at Weedsport Speedway, it's almost like you don't even recognize the place. It's looking so good.
Yeah, you're pretty right on there. I mean, I know, a lot of the Central New York, racing community spent, a lot of Sunday nights at Weedsport Speedway, and the scenery never changed for a long, long time, and that was okay. It was a great place to race, and it was a great place to watch a race for 25, 30 years, or however long. I mean, I guess 50 years or how long it's been open. But it was time. There were some things that just needed to either get some extensive work to be rebuilt, or tear down and start over, and that's what Mr. Hankey chose to do. And then he didn't stop. He definitely has a goal in mind of what he wants the facility to look like, and he's certainly getting there.
Check out all of this week's episodes at the all-new FingerLakes1.tv or on the Finger Lakes One TV tab on our app. All of our audio programming is also streaming in rotation on Finger Lakes One Radio. Thanks for joining me for another edition of FLX Weekly. Jessica will be back next Wednesday afternoon, and you can also now catch us on Time Warner Cable Channel 12 every Thursday night at 6 and every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. For FingerLakes1.com, I'm Tera Erway. Have a great weekend.